Hi everyone, welcome back. This is week 79 of my social isolation get ready with me's, and this week I'm going to be using a new to me palette, which is the Glamlite Pizza palette. In particular, this is the Meat Lovers version, and I picked this one up a few months ago now, but I grabbed the Meat Lovers version because I like the colors in it a little bit more. Although I have to say, some of these names just really don't line up with the actual colors. Like this one right here is called Bacon. Shouldn't this one be called Bacon? I don't know, that seems like a weird color choice for the name Bacon. And then this one appears chicken, ham. I mean, I guess pepperoni makes sense, but crushed red pepper's fine. Anyway, it's a little bit strange on some of these names, but I've been playing with a lot of like neutral tones lately, and I kind of want to break out of that today. So we're going to do something a little bit more colorful with this, and hopefully it turns out good. So what have I watched recently on Netflix? I feel like that's something I always bring up. Ginny and Georgia. I wasn't really expecting to like it, but I really do. It's about a mother and her kid who leave town after the death of her husband and try to pick up life in a different city, town, whatever. Which sounds very generic, I realize. But there's a lot of twists and turns, and it's very interesting. And I'm still, despite being 38 years old, still very much drawn to a lot of like teen dramas. But I guess the part that kind of makes this a little bit more interesting as I'm a little bit older is not only do you have the teen drama side of things, but you also have the mother's perspective, which I'm not a mother, but it gives you a little bit of an older perspective as opposed to just like the teen drama side of things. So it's been renewed for a second season. I think I binged the whole thing in like under a week. It was very, very good. I liked it. An easy watch too, like not, well, it's dramatic, but not like overly dramatic all the time. Like it's good bubblegum type watching, if that's even a term. Maybe I just made that up. Okay, so starting with this palette, I want to play with the pink and purple, and I think Bacon over here. So there's not, I mean, I guess this is a transition color, but that would make the whole look way too brown. So I'm going to go in with Canadian Bacon, and that is, wow, that is pigmented. Just like looking at what it did on the brush. That's going to go through my crease. And that is sticking a lot to the primer, which I guess is good in the long run, but when you first put a color on and it sticks in that spot, it always concerns me. I'm like, oh, am I gonna be able to blend it out? So I was at my friend Julie's last night. She was having a bit of a housewarming barbecue type situation, so all outside. And Sam, Julie, and I got to talking about, this shocked me, Sam brought this up, how the kids of today consider MAC makeup to be like their mom's makeup. Like it's no longer cool. It's the stuff that their mom uses. So therefore inherently uncool, right? And I was horrified. Okay. I was just like, how did we get here? MAC used to be so cool. MAC was the brand when I was growing up in my teens and through my 20s. And I mean, I still use MAC. I'm not as interested in their collections because they tend to be very regurgitated and very boring compared to everything else being launched now. But I wouldn't consider it like a mom brand. But I guess that's the age I'm at now, right? Like I'm 38 years old. Plenty of people, I mean, I could have an 18-year-old right now, right? Well, I could have older than that too if I'd gotten started early. But it's funny to think how an 18-year-old now would be considering MAC makeup like their mom's brand. And we were trying to figure out what the kids of today wear, and we don't really know. Okay, we're all in our 30s, or a little bit over, and we have no idea what's cool. We were trying to figure out, like, is it Glossier? And then, like, no, there's a lot of people our age who are wearing Glossier. And then I was trying to think back to when I was a teen, and I got started on MAC makeup very young. Like, I was, like, 12. So I was in it pretty early. But if I think about all the other things that I would have to buy for myself, like, I'd buy eyeshadow from MAC, but I would get, like, eyeliner from CoverGirl or a mascara from Maybelline. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I wore L'Oreal Voluminous mascara, like, pretty much all throughout my teen years. So maybe they're just wearing, like, random stuff they find at the drugstore. I really don't know what's considered cool now. Maybe there's just no more like real brand loyalty anymore. Like the way we felt so obsessed with MAC back in the day, like MAC. I didn't even want to try other brands, like other high-end brands, because I was like, no, MAC's the best. Why would I try anything else out there? Okay, so crease color's on. I'm gonna go in with the lid color, which I'm gonna take bacon here. Chicken is tempting too, but okay, I'm gonna take bacon. That's what I said I was gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I put that all over the lid. With a lot of these Glamlite shimmers, they're kind of like hard packed in here. You can wet your brush if you want a little bit more of a smooth consistency, and it would probably make it a little bit more opaque, but I'm kind of liking this sort of flaky-esque look, so I'm just gonna go with this. So yeah, I don't know what's cool today, and I don't know if asking my audience what's cool today is the right thing to do, because you guys might all be the same age as me. Like, I don't think I've really got some under 20s watching me. But yeah, it was nice to go to a barbecue. The temperature is finally changing, so it's a little bit cooler. So at night when we were just sitting out with, you know, some like little patio lights going, a few drinks, it was so nice. It actually started to smell like winter as opposed to Halloween. And I don't know if people know what I'm talking about when I say that, because to me, the smell of winter is very specific, and the smell of Halloween is very specific. Like, I can smell it in the air. It's just a different type of chill smell, cool smell, like a chill in the air kind of thing. But last night I got a whiff of winter and I was like, oh, what is that? Can't wait. Give me all the snow. Okay, lid color's on. I'm now gonna go in with red onion right here and put that on the outer corner. I don't know if this is probably not gonna be deep enough because it's quite a bright color, but we're gonna see if we can manage to not deepen up the outer corner, because that's something I always do, but we shall see. Pretty color. And on the note of hanging out with friends, this was not this past last night, but it happened before. This is weird for me to talk about because this is not something that I feel like is openly talked about. So, let's get into a story time. Okay, I have never done drugs in my entire life, okay? Until recently, which is the point of the story. That's really gonna freak everybody out. My mom watching this right now is like, you did what? Hang on. So, drugs have never been a part of my life. I've never been interested in weed, marijuana, whatever the heck it's called now, pot, who knows. All these slang terms for stuff I never did just boggle my mind. But a few years back, weed, marijuana, CBD, THC oil, all that stuff became legal in Canada, and the government sells it, you can buy it, yada yada. And I had always been like super anti-drugs because I was like, well, it's not legal, not allowed, seems like the weird thing to do, you never know what it's mixed with, if you're buying it from other people, blah blah blah. And I don't have much knowledge in this regard at all. So I'd kind of just like looked down on it, I guess, avoided it completely. But then as soon as it became legalized in Canada, I'm like, I guess it's okay. So I've not really held much thought one way or the other towards it. And I think it was 2 weekends ago now, I was like, you know, like, I'll give it a shot. I do not want to smoke anything. I don't want to screw up my lungs. I have no interest in, you know, ingesting something that way. But I was like, you know, I'll try like a gummy. And I can't remember. My friend told me what was in it and I can't really remember. THC and CBD, like a mix of both or something. Bought from the government, safe, yada yada. So they wanted to make sure that I'd be okay because I'd never had this before. So they gave me half a gummy, and I have to say I didn't feel anything. I was just like, okay. Waited like 4 hours, nothing happened. I was like, okay. Haven't tried anything since. But that was my first experience with a drug. I don't know what the terms are for all of this stuff, okay? I sound really ridiculous talking about it. But it's so funny how my mentality towards this stuff changed as soon as it became legalized in Canada. I was like, guess it's fine now. But now, I think about all the people that were sent to prison or had jail time or anything like that who, just for like possession of marijuana. And I'm like, oh God, and now it's legal and these people are probably still in jail. Like it's not good. Okay, I like that. I'm not going to deepen it up. Although on camera it looks really bright. But a wing and some lashes will deepen up that area. Okay, there is no brow bone highlight shade in this. So I'm going to have to use my Wet n Wild Brulee eyeshadow single on the brow bone. So how do you guys feel about that kind of stuff? One of the reasons I always avoided drugs was, aside from the legalities and wanting to be safe and all that kind of stuff, was I can be very obsessive about things, and I didn't want to discover that I liked something and then would just continue doing it to my detriment. So that was always like one of the reasons I never really did this stuff. But of course, now I've tried it and nothing happened. I'm like, no point maybe? Is this something people really talk about on YouTube too? I don't really know. I don't really follow people that discuss this kind of stuff. Everybody will talk openly about like wine and drinking, but I don't feel like marijuana usage is ever something really discussed. Oh, I also made sure that I did it with close friends in a controlled environment so that I didn't feel unsafe or that something was going to happen to me. Okay, so winged liner, Physicians Formula Eye Booster. Okay, this might be against my better judgment, putting pink on my waterline because I might look a little diseased, but it's been a long time since I've tried something like this, so I want to see if it still looks as weird as it did before. I'm going to use the Quo Beauty waterproof eyeliner in the shade Hot Pink. Never used these before. They came out with their Pride collection. And I'm just going to layer that on. And whenever I put waterline color on, I always rub it between my lashes, so I don't have any gaps. And then I want to take the purple color, I think. I was going to go with pink initially, but I think the purple will look a little bit nicer blended in. So again, that purple is the red onion color here. And smudge that along my lower lash line. Yeah, I like the little bit of contrast between the liner and the purple. And to blend out the purple edge, I'm just going to go back in with Canadian Bacon. This is a really big brush. It might be too big, but we're going to try it out. And put that on the edges of the red onion color. Oh my god, that feels enormous. Why did I choose this? Yeah, it's too big. Hang on. You know what? I'm going to try something like this. I feel like I never really have the perfect brush for blowing out colors here. Especially when we use a little amount of powder in a certain area. So let's see if this works. It might also make it a little bit too concentrated, but we'll see. That's not too bad. And then when I put my foundation on too, I can use the sponge to like blend out that area. We don't really have a color for an inner corner highlight here, so I'm just gonna go back in with Bacon, which is the lid color, and then pop that on the inner corner. And then just drag it down a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna put on my mascara, which is the Benefit Bad Gal Bang, and then some lashes, the Tarteist GTL lashes, and I will be right back. All right, eyes are all done. Let's move on to the face. Just using my Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation, shade 51 Light Vanilla. I haven't really been outside in the sun, so I'm fairly pale, and I think this is the shade that matches me the most. I'm ashamed to admit that I have not been to soccer. 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I don't know. Not since the August long weekend, so I guess it's been a long friggin' time. First it was the heat that was an excuse not to go, and then over time it just became easier not to go because I was out of shape and tired, and I sleep late on the weekends, and I have excuse after excuse about it, and frankly there's only one more game left in the half season that we've had this year, so I probably won't go to that, but let me tell you, I am not proud about it. Anyway, that was all just to say that I haven't gotten a lot of sun because I have not been running outside. That's not true, actually. I started running outside again probably about a week ago, just getting back on track with that kind of stuff. I have no stamina, okay? I had to start back at like 2 kilometers because I could not just run the whole time. So I did a run walk for 2K, and I've been increasing it by like 500 meters every time. Oh, it's rough building your stamina back up. I really took for granted how much I could easily train for a half marathon, 2 years ago granted, in like 6 weeks, easily, because I ran all the time. Now I'm like, how the heck did I ever do that? So yeah, I'm slowly building my distance back up, getting my lungs back in order, my muscles back in order. And just relearning and retraining my body for that, really. It's so much easier to do in the fall too, because the temperatures are so much better. Okay, for bronzer, using my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. A little bit sad that I haven't been able to use like my darker bronzers this summer because no color. I say that, but I only wear makeup once a week for these videos. Although I guess I wore makeup last night to go to Julie's for her housewarming barbecue. Pulled out my ABH Modern Renaissance palette. Funny that that feels like a throwback now, but man, what a lovely fall palette. I never really get tired of the older launches, and that's one of the ones that I feel like was just absolute perfection. She hasn't really launched anything since that I thought has been particularly good. I feel like the Norvina Volume 4 palette had so much potential based on like, they released a trailer for a eyeshadow palette launch, which got me really excited because it seemed like cyberpunk 80s-esque. And then when the palette got opened, I was like, this is boring. This is so boring. I wanted like neon colors and aqua and hot pink and teal, and it was just like none of those things. It was a very misleading trailer, actually. Okay, for blush, I'm gonna be using this NARS blush in Bumpy Ride. It's just a, oh, that's paler than I remembered when I pulled it out to match like my eyeshadow color. It's kind of like a pale coral. Although I'm looking at it now and I'm like, you just look pink. And then for highlighter, I guess I'm pulling out of style mom makeup. I'm pulling out my MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in Perfect Topping. Do you remember when these blew up in the MAC world? Oh, everybody wanted to get their hands on every single MSF that they could. I mean, they're friggin' pretty, and when these first came out, they were like unlike anything else on the market. What are the other ones? I have Soft and Gentle. Everybody wanted Lightscapade. It was like a dolly one. Think about. Yeah, but these were super popular. This one though, I really don't feel like it's got that much sheen to it, which is probably better because so many of my highlighters are super reflective, and that's not always necessary. Okay, what's left? Brows. I'm gonna do my brows, and then I'll come back and we'll finish up with the lips. Okay, so for lips, I didn't want to keep it subtle. I kind of want to match it to the eyeshadow color. So I pulled out two Bite lipsticks that I think are sort of close. I've got Pickled Ginger and Ginger Snap here. Let's see. I think that one might work, but let's see the other color. Oh, I think that one's too orange. Okay. So let's see how Pickled Ginger looks. It's gonna be a lot of pink. Not exactly the same tone, because the purple is definitely sticking out a lot, but I think it sort of matches to the blown out color. So I'm gonna stick with this one. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm gonna blot it down though, which is not something I normally do, but yeah, a little bit more matte looks better to me. When you first put on the Bite lipsticks, I mean, listen, Bite lipsticks are second to none. But sometimes when you first put them on, they've got a little bit of a sheen to them that I don't always love. And I think that mattified it a little bit more. All right, so that is the finished look with the Glamlite Pizza Meat Lovers palette. I have to say, this doesn't really look like pizza on my eyes, does it? But I definitely lean towards the more vibrant shades. I am curious to play with like, the red here really drew me in, but I'm like, I'm always drawn to red colors. Try something different for once. And I like this one, although I don't feel like I blended that out very well. Hang on. Sometimes my blending skill is just seriously not that good. Especially on the outer area here, I don't really know how to do it very well. I think that's about as good as we're gonna get. Anyway, I like this palette. I will say though that the shimmers are pretty. They're a little bit hard packed. They don't always go on the most opaque. And the mattes are really nice. They are really pigmented, but sometimes I find that the blending is not always the easiest to do. But having said that, it doesn't really bother me. Like, I do always really like the shades and how they come out. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. I mean, these are relatively inexpensive palettes, right? So it's not like you're spending a ton of money on it. I just read the back and it says, warning, do not eat. Really? Did anybody actually think that they were going to be eating this pizza palette? The things people have to put as disclaimers on products that should be self-explanatory. Anyway, fun palette to use. I do like Glamlite products for sure, and I do find their themes very fun. I think that the colors that they include in their palettes based on the themes are a lot of fun to use. I've got another one that I still haven't touched yet, the Artist Pro palette, and I think I'll be using that one next week. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for joining me for week 79. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye.